The power of silence. Command respect without words. Have you ever noticed that the people who are truly respected never chase attention? They don't beg for approval. They don't plead for loyalty. Yet, somehow, everyone wants to be around them. Why? Because they've mastered the power of presence. You see, the moment people feel certain they'll always have access to you, they stop valuing you. But when you create scarcity, when there's even the slightest doubt about whether they can keep you, that's when they start paying attention. Power isn't given, it's taken. Look at Julius Caesar. His men didn't follow him because they had to. They followed him because they feared losing him. Not once did he beg for loyalty. He commanded it. Through his presence, his silence, his unwavering confidence. And that's exactly what I'll teach you today. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to use body language to establish dominance. Why silence is more powerful than words. How to control people, not with force, but with your presence alone. Because when you master this, people won't just respect you, they'll fear losing you. Have you ever noticed that the people who are truly respected never chase attention? They don't seek validation, yet the world follows them. Why? Because they've mastered the power of presence. The moment people feel certain they'll always have access to you, they stop valuing you. But when you create scarcity, when there's even the slightest doubt about whether they can keep you, that's when they start paying attention. Power isn't given, it's taken. Look at Julius Caesar. His men didn't follow him because they had to. They followed him because they feared losing him. Not once did he beg for loyalty. He commanded it through his presence, his silence, his unwavering confidence. And that's exactly what I'll teach you today. Because this isn't just about being respected, it's about making people fear losing you. Why do people fear losing someone? People don't fear losing someone who's always available, always predictable, always chasing. They fear losing someone rare, someone who moves with purpose, someone who never begs, only commands. This isn't just a theory. The most powerful and influential figures in history have mastered this. Steve Jobs. He knew exactly when to speak and when to stay silent. He didn't flood the media with interviews. He didn't try to convince people of his brilliance. Instead, he withheld his presence. And because of that, every time he appeared on stage, it felt like an event. When Steve Jobs spoke, the world listened. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He wasn't loud, he didn't seek approval, yet his calm, composed presence made even his enemies respect him. His silence held more weight than most people's words. James Bond, a fictional character? Yes, but one built on psychological dominance. Bond never chases, he never clings, he keeps people guessing, he stays in control. That's why he's irresistible, that's why he's dangerous. The truth is, if you can control your presence, your body language, and the way you interact with the world, people will instinctively fear losing you. Because the moment someone knows they have full access to you, you lose your power. And the first step to reclaiming that power, mastering your body language. But first, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and type, "I control my presence." And if you're serious about leveling up, about becoming someone people fear losing, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because what you're about to learn will change everything. Now let's begin. 1. Mastering body language to command authority. Have you ever noticed that the most respected people never chase attention? They don't beg for approval. They don't plead for loyalty. Yet, people are drawn to them. Why? Because they have mastered the power of presence. When people believe they always have access to you, they take you for granted. But the moment they sense that access is limited, that's when they start paying attention. Power is not given, it is taken. Look at Julius Caesar. His men didn't follow him out of obligation. They followed him because they feared losing him. Not once did he beg for loyalty. He commanded it. Through his presence, through his silence, through his unwavering confidence. And that is exactly what I will teach you today. Because this is not just about being respected, it is about making people fear losing you. Why do people fear losing someone? People do not fear losing someone who is always available, always predictable, always chasing. They fear losing someone who commands attention without demanding it. Someone who moves with purpose. Someone who knows their value and makes sure others know it too. This isn't just theory. The most powerful and influential figures in history have mastered this. Take Steve Jobs. He knew exactly when to speak and when to stay silent. He didn't flood the media with interviews. He didn't try to convince people of his brilliance. Instead, he withheld his presence. And because of that, every time he appeared on stage, it felt like an event. When Steve Jobs spoke, the world listened. Or Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He wasn't loud. He didn't seek approval. Yet, his calm, composed presence made even his enemies respect him. His silence held more weight than most people's words, or even James Bond. A fictional character? Yes, but one built on psychological dominance. Bond never chases. He never clings. He keeps people guessing. He stays in control. That's why he is irresistible. That's why he is dangerous. How to take control of your presence. The truth is, if you can control your presence, your body language, and the way you interact with the world, people will instinctively fear losing you, because the moment someone knows they have full access to you, you lose your power. And the first step to reclaiming that power, mastering your body language. But first, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and type, "I control my presence." And if you're serious about leveling up, about becoming someone people fear losing, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because what you are about to learn will change everything. Smooth transition to next section. Mastering body language is the first step to commanding respect. But there is something even more powerful. Something that makes people lean in, pay attention, and even feel intimidated without you saying a single word. Silence. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill the gaps. They over-explain. They talk just to be heard. But powerful people, they understand that silence is a weapon. Up next, we are diving into why silence holds more power than words and how you can use it to control any interaction. Let's get into it. 2. Why silent people are more powerful. Silence is power, yet most people fear it. They talk too much. They explain themselves when no one is asking. They rush to fill every pause, afraid of discomfort. And in doing so, they weaken their presence. But powerful people, they understand that silence is a weapon. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to think. It makes them question what you are thinking. And that alone gives you control. How to use silence to your advantage. First, master the power pause. Most people answer questions immediately. They feel pressured to respond right away, afraid of silence. But true power lies in pausing before you speak. That slight delay, just 2 or 3 seconds, forces the other person to hang on to your every word. It creates tension. It builds presence. It makes you appear in control. Look at Elon Musk in interviews. When he is asked a difficult question, He does not rush to respond. He pauses, he thinks, he lets the silence sit. And when he finally speaks, his words carry weight. Why? Because he did not react. He responded with control, and that is what makes people listen. Second, say less, mean more. Powerful people do not overshare. They do not explain themselves unnecessarily. They keep things short, sharp, and deliberate. Take Marcus Aurelius. As a Roman emperor, he only spoke when necessary. His words were chosen carefully. They were precise. They mattered. And because of that, people listened. The less you say, the more impact your words have. Next time someone asks you a question, pause before you respond. Not for too long, just 2 to 3 seconds. Let them feel the silence. Let them anticipate your answer. And when you speak, make it count. Because the person who talks less, but with conviction and control, always holds the power. Mastering silence is one of the most powerful tools of influence. But silence alone is not enough. To truly make people respect you, you need to command the space around you. Because power is not just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself. Some people enter a room and instantly everyone notices them. They don't have to speak loudly. They don't need to demand attention. Their presence alone is enough. Up next, we're diving into how to control people, simply by the way you move, stand, and exist in a room. Let's get into it. 3. How to control others with your presence. Powerful people do not just exist in a space, they command it. Their presence alone can shift the energy in a room. It can create a sense of security or an overwhelming feeling of tension, depending on how they choose to use it. This is not about physical size or strength. It is about how you take up space. Some people shrink themselves without realizing it. They sit small. They avoid eye contact. They speak quickly, nervously, as if asking for permission to exist. And then there are those who enter a room, and everyone notices. They are not loud. They do not try to dominate conversations. Yet, they own the space. So, how do you control a room without saying a word? Step 1. Own the space naturally. Your body language sends a message before you even speak. If you look uncomfortable in your own space, others will sense it. When speaking to someone, never shrink yourself. Do not cross your arms. Do not hunch over. Do not shift nervously. Instead, plant your feet firmly on the ground. Keep your shoulders relaxed but open. Move slowly and deliberately. This simple adjustment instantly makes you appear more powerful. Look at Vladimir Putin. When he meets with world leaders, he does not rush to shake hands. He does not fill the silence. Instead, he sits back. He observes. His stillness alone creates tension. It forces the other person to feel the need to break the silence, to prove themselves. That is psychological control. Step 2. Control the pace of your voice. Most people talk too fast when they are nervous. They rush their words, trying to keep up with the conversation. But power is in slowing down. Speak slower. Let your words have weight. Give the other person time to absorb what you are saying. Look at Michael Jordan. On the court, he did not need to scream. He did not need to trash talk. His presence alone, his confidence, his composure, made his opponents afraid. They could feel his dominance before he even touched the ball. Next time you walk into a meeting, a date, or a negotiation, own the space. Do not rush. Do not fidget. Do not force conversation. Instead, sit back. Observe. Speak when necessary, but when you do, make it count. Because the person who controls their presence controls the room. Now let's move on to the next strategy. Why scarcity increases your value. 4. Scarcity increases your value. If something is always available, it becomes ordinary. If something is rare, people crave it. The same rule applies to power, influence, and attraction. The more accessible you are, the less people value you. Think about it. The people who are always available, always responding instantly, always saying yes, are rarely respected. But those who are selective with their time, those who do not always pick up the phone, those who make others wait, they become more desirable. This is because scarcity creates value. Step 1. Do not be instantly available. When someone texts you, do not rush to reply. When someone asks to see you, do not always say yes. Let them wait. Not out of arrogance, but out of control. When people know they can reach you anytime, they stop seeing you as valuable. Take Robert Greene's Law 16 in the 48 Laws of Power. Use absence to increase respect and honor. When you disappear, even briefly, people notice. They wonder where you are. They start thinking about you more. Your presence when you return feels important. Step 2. Be selective with your presence. The most powerful and influential people in the world do not overexpose themselves. Take The Weeknd. He rarely appears in interviews. He does not flood social media with his thoughts. But when he does make an appearance, it is an event. People listen. They pay attention. Why? Because he controls his presence. Next time you get a message, pause. Next time someone invites you somewhere, consider waiting before answering. Next time you feel the need to constantly be present, step back. Because when you make yourself less available, people start valuing your presence more. Now let's move on to the final strategy. How to make people feel like they could lose you at any moment. 5. Make people fear losing you. The greatest mistake you can make. Letting people feel too secure about having you. The moment they assume you'll always be there, they stop chasing. If someone is certain you will always be there, waiting, chasing, available at all times, they stop appreciating you. But the moment there is uncertainty, the moment they feel like you might walk away, that is when they start to value you. Step 1. Never let anyone feel like they have you completely. The biggest mistake people make is making themselves too predictable. They text back immediately. They say yes to everything. They make the other person the center of their world. And that kills attraction, respect, and value. Look at Marilyn Monroe. She was one of the most desired women in history. But why? Because she always kept a bit of distance. No one ever felt like they had full control over her. She gave just enough to keep people wanting more. She knew that mystery is power. If people feel like they have already won you, they stop chasing. Step 2. Always be evolving people. Fear losing someone who is constantly growing. If you stay the same, if you never improve, never evolve, never challenge yourself, people assume you will always be there. But if you are always leveling up, always improving, always moving forward, they feel like they have to keep up with you. Take Cristiano Ronaldo. He is one of the greatest footballers in history. But why is he so respected? Because he never stays complacent. He constantly improves. He keeps himself at the top of his game. And because of that, clubs fear losing him. They know that if they do not value him, someone else will. Stop making other people the center of your world. Have your own goals, your own passions, your own path. Let people see that you are growing, moving forward, evolving, with or without them. Because the moment they feel like they might lose you, that is when they start chasing you. Now, let's bring everything together. In the final part of this video, I will show you exactly how to apply all these principles so you become someone no one ever wants to lose. Everything we have covered in this video leads to one simple truth. Power is not given, it is taken. If you want people to fear losing you, you must master 5 key principles. First, control your body language. Powerful people do not need to speak loudly or act aggressively. They command respect through presence alone. Hold eye contact, move with intention, stand with confidence. Second, use silence as a weapon. People who talk too much weaken their presence, but when you pause before speaking, when you hold back and choose your words carefully, you become someone people listen to. Third, own your presence to control the room. Do not shrink yourself. Do not fidget. Speak slowly. Move with purpose. Make people feel your presence before you even say a word. Fourth, leverage scarcity to increase your value. If you are always available, you become replaceable. But if you limit your presence, if you make people wait, if you make them wonder when they will see you again, your value increases instantly. Fifth, make people fear losing you. Never let anyone feel like they fully have you. Always be evolving, always be growing, always be someone they have to work to keep. Because the moment people think they can take you for granted, you have already lost your power. If you want real power, never let anyone believe they can easily keep you. Control your presence. Control how people experience you, and watch how they start chasing you instead. This is your turning point. If you're serious about building real power, stop letting people think they own your presence. Hit that like button. Subscribe now, because next time we go even deeper into the psychology of power. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Because once you apply them, everything changes. I will see you in the next video.